Hello everyone, this is Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. I'm actually away at the moment, but I've got a little bit of time to look at the Southern District of New York investigation. When this first emerged last year, I actually did feel that there was, I think I made the comment that Trump was approaching his presidency like he did his business, and I still think that is potentially the case at the moment. So I want to ask with the Southern District of New York, now they've subpoenaed the Trump Inaugural Committee, and one of the things that they might be looking at, it is a criminal investigation, is whether or not there were cash for policy, in other words, cash for influence. Did these players that have been donating, including Russia, have they paid to play, I think is the saying, and that's the question that we want to ask. Did those donors to the Trump Inaugural Committee, was this cash for policy or cash for influence, cash for presidential influence? Okay, were these donors contributing to Trump's coffers? We know it went to the Trump Organization via the Inaugural Committee. You know, when I say Trump Organization, for overpriced hiring out of his hotels, one way or another, it went to Trump Organization profits. Was this cash for play? Pay to play, cash for policy. Trump's Inaugural Committee, or Inauguration Committee. Donors paying, were donors paying for access to the president and potentially influencing policy? Okay, so we've got the Emperor. The Emperor was there. The Emperor came on board. This is who they were paying, potentially paying to see. What the challenge here is the actual money itself, okay? We've got the King of Pentacles, and this comes forward. It's interesting these two cards came at this time. In some of my readings, the Emperor comes forward as Trump. In others, when he is doing business, he comes forward as the King of Pentacles. So anyone that's watching will know this isn't a trick of the cards. This is actually how it's actually coming out. So we have Trump the president being challenged by Trump the businessman. At the basis of this reading is the Page of Cups, which is an offering. Somebody offering something in return for something else. Now, in the past, we've got the Moon, we've got secrets. Who was talking to whom in the lead up to the presidential election? Really, from the time that Trump was elected, what sort of communications were going on? We know that the transition team had multiple contacts with Russia. Who else? Saudi Arabia. What else was promised? What else was discussed? We've got Trump the president being challenged by Trump the businessman. At present, we have the Queen of Swords. Now, this can be Congress. I think this is who is challenging Trump at the moment, is Congress. Now, Congress is putting the pressure on. I think Adam Schiff might be investigating, of the House Intelligence Committee, may also be investigating the cash for policy, pay to play. We've also got the Southern District of New York. We've got the new Attorney General, Letitia James, I think it is. He's being challenged on multiple levels by those seeking the truth. Now, I read something very interesting one of my subscribers sent me in relation to the Senate Intelligence Committee and what it is likely turning up as well. This inauguration matter is the tip of the iceberg. What have we got? The immediate future. We've got circles of support. We've got the Three of Cups. We've got people coming together in order to uncover the truth about Donald Trump. We've got investigators searching for the truth. We've got cooperation between Mueller and the Southern District of New York. We've now got a New York potential investigation. We've got the Senate investigation led by a Republican, unearthing all sorts of things about the Trump presidency and beyond. At the moment, we've got the Nine of Pentacles. Now, this is the situation at its heart, I guess, at the moment. This represents the situation, and that is luxury and self-government. So if you think about what a presidency is supposed to be, and then look at what the presidency has become potentially has become under Trump, and then you look at a third world dictatorship, what does the dictator do? They amass money and really to govern without the rules. And this is what this card is representing. This is how corruption of government, this is how potentially it pans out. Now, the environment at the moment is Robert Mueller and the other investigators. Look, we've got really the Queen of Swords coming forward as in the present, which is the investigations, and the environment. We've got all of these investigations in the environment around Trump. But this king most likely represents Robert Mueller. What has Robert Mueller got? A king is the ultimate authority. So really, what is, overshadowing Trump, we've asked about the Southern District of New York. Mueller shared information with them. We've got this investigatory environment with Robert Mueller circling as well. Now we've got the Chariot, hopes and fears. Well, this is a hope. We asked about the Southern District of New York. You're going to have things coming through strongly and quickly. That is the hope. Okay, I think generally the hope is around Trump, that these things will really, I guess, come forward in such a way that his presidency will end. That is the hope. Now look what we've got here as the outcome card. We've got the Sun, we've got illumination, and ultimately that is what's going to happen. There will, where possible, where national security interests are not jeopardised, lives, intelligence agents' lives are not imperiled through release of information. Generally, we're going to have illumination. So if Trump was trying to hide anything, it's unlikely that he will be able to at this point in time. Now, I've often wondered why Trump, with his business, the way that he conducted himself in the past, the potential collusion with Russia, the investigations going on, why he went out of his way to insult and inflame people. He's made no friends. Many people want to see justice done with Donald Trump, and justice is being done at this point in time. All I can say is, prior to the midterms, the behaviour of Donald Trump, the recklessness, the insults, the blatant, almost alleged corruption that was unfolding really in front of our eyes, points to the fact that Donald Trump thought he was unaccountable. He thought that he was both the king and the president, and did not understand that this Donald Trump, the businessman, was actually the reason why Donald Trump, the president, would not ever be successful. So really, he's challenged himself in the way that he's conducted things. And this goes back to the Republicans and choosing Trump as a candidate, standing behind him all through 2017, most of 2018. you know, the GOP has got a lot to answer for. But I do feel the GOP is starting to move away from Donald Trump. Now, I ask this question regularly, and I guess viewers are saying, gosh, will she stop asking when the GOP will desert Trump? But I think it is critical to the ending of his presidency. The ending of his presidency will be a political process. I think it's critical that the GOP, their support or lack of support will determine when Donald Trump is likely to go. So I'm just going to ask, now not all the GOP are going to be caught up in this, but we are going to get some GOP caught up, really, if you like, co-conspirators here. So let's have a look. Just in relation to the inauguration committee, I just want to see if the GOP knew the level of these donations and where they were going. Have members of the GOP, or do members of the GOP, have members of the GOP known that Trump is enriching himself out of this presidency? Do the GOP, members of the GOP, not all of them, know that Donald Trump is enriching himself out of this presidency? GOP, no, Donald Trump is enriching himself, or could be enriching himself out of this presidency. Okay, so, all right, straight away we've got these offers. Really, cash for policy, pay to play. And we've got the circles of support, potentially aiding and abetting. And we've got Mueller coming. Okay, so I would assume from this reading, well, we'll keep going. This is the retreat. This is the GOP in retreat, because they understood at some level that Donald Trump, the businessman, was still going to be Donald Trump, the businessman, even though he was the president. Now, the circles of support, we've got building assets for the future in the Eight of Pentacles. And we've got Robert Mueller coming forward with new starts. Yeah. And then we've got the past here. So that's an interesting card to pull, because it's almost as if they knew or they could have known for some time exactly what Trump has been doing. The GOP did know, or this reading is showing the GOP potentially knew, members of the GOP potentially knew that Donald Trump was enriching himself through the American presidency. So those members of the GOP, not all the GOP, those members, and we've got particularly, I think this card points to really we've got three people in this circle. So, you know, it would have been not, as I said, not all of the GOP, but I think some members of the GOP certainly knew that Donald Trump, the businessman, was enriching himself through the office of the presidency of the United States. And potentially they've known for some time, because this is the card of the past. They perhaps knew right from the beginning what was going to go on. There might have even, was there any talks of it? I don't know. Did Donald Trump say, well, this is what I'm going to do if I'm elected? I don't know. We'll leave that to the Southern District of New York and Adam Schiff's investigation to perhaps see who might have known what and when, and exactly what went on with that inauguration committee funds. I'll leave it there, viewers. What's hidden at the bottom of the deck is the Nine of Swords, which of course is anxiety and grief. So we've got the pendulum swinging now, and it's swinging against Trump. We've certainly got the wheel of fortune turning. So what was happening in 2016 is totally different from what might be happening now. So multiple investigations, they'll run their course, and at the end of the day, will Trump's presidency survive? Of course, my reading and other readers are saying that it won't. Thank you very much, viewers.